Hey guys, welcome back to FoolCraft 3. I am back at the mob farm. Um, it's working pretty good. I may need to increase the storage capacity in here a bit. Yeah, we're full up on several things. Not so many ender pearls though. They got started pretty quick, but yeah, some of these things are starting to overflow. I had an insane number of potions in here. It was all kinds of backed up, all the way into the chest over there. So, this led me to require better storage for long-term storage, because I had them in this crate right here. Now they're going into this ender chest, which is in the base. We'll get to that in a minute. So this here is one reason I was like, I need something to store things better. And then, around the same time, I was trying to figure out how to um, craft some things. Whoop. That ring is doing some wonders. I was trying to figure out how to do some fairly complicated multi-tiered crafting, and so the need for storage and multi-tier crafting ease led me to making the applied energistics Eme System. So yeah, I've got all of this just kind of crammed in here for right now because this is where my power setup was. It's all running off of charcoal at the moment because I had a ton of charcoal and I'm still making a ton of charcoal. 2 Starling generators is keeping up with everything pretty easily. There's no problem there. I've got stuff down there going on. I'll show you in a second. But anyway, so the Eme system, you have to basically start by making a energy acceptor, an energy cell, and the inscriber, so that you can make the Eme drive terminals. Go ahead and make some glass cables. The Eme controller you don't actually need to get started. It's one of the blocks I made later. Everything here is kind of in the order that I made it. So energy acceptor, charger, inscriber, energy cell, and then I got into the drive, molecular assembler, interface, controller, and crafting units. All that stuff back on that side. The pattern encoder is not from AE2, it's from AE2 stuff. Because I don't think there is an encoder. You have to use the pattern grid or the pattern terminal from AE2, and it's a little bit more complicated to make than the encoder here. You have to have a crafting terminal and then upgrade it with an engineering processor, which is inscribed diamond engineering stuff. But yeah, anybody that's used AE2 already will know how to do all this stuff. Otherwise, it's kind of confusing. I learned how to do it for a Skyblock series. I think it was like Sky Factory 2.5, Sky Factory 3. Pretty sure somewhere in there. Because I had never made one before, and stuff has changed a little bit since then, but it's still the basic idea. They just kind of remade it to be the same. Anyway, it's more or less a modular structure. You can build it any way that you want to. The only part of it that has building rules is the crafting and controller setup for the crafting units. They all kind of have to be in a square. There's a 1K crafting processor behind this crafting unit. It's like underneath its Eme interface, but that block plus this one make a square or a rectangle together. And that's the only rule, is that the crafting stuff has to make a square or a rectangle. So yeah, those two side by side. They actually change how they look if you have them placed incorrectly. See how that one is kind of like dark, and this one is light, and whenever I place it, it turns dark. That means it's correct. It says device online there. But yeah, those are the rules for that. You can have intersections like cross shapes and all kinds of stuff. Like you can have a T-junction, but not a plus sign, if that makes any sense. The way the blocks are placed. You can have T's or L's, but no plus signs. And I don't even know if that's even still a rule, but it used to be. I'll have to check it out whenever I get more of this stuff built. But yeah, that's that. This chest here is the one connected to up by the mob farm. I've still got some more potions and this one book that I had found while running around outside in the dungeons. And this storage cell right here is the one I'm storing all the potions and books in, so they're not cluttering up all my inventory space out here. So let me pull these out. These have all of my other stuff in them, the ingots and gems and miscellaneous crafting things that I'm using. And we're going to put this stuff away. Put that there. Open it up. Throw all the potions and book in here. So let's just sort, let's view stored items. So yeah, here's all the different kinds of books. Multi-shot fire protection, sharpness, knockback, withering, fire aspect, feather falling. Here's all the potions. So I've got 90 wither potions, 54 instant health potions, 40 regen potions, 19 strength 2s. 2 different regions actually, 40 of the 45 second, 13 of the minute and a halves. All these different kinds of discs, I went ahead and threw those in there because they don't stack with each other. But in the Eme system, they only count as one item that can stack, like, for more than a stack, basically. Like all these potions don't stack. These wither potions, they were filling up all kinds of inventory space. But in the Eme system, they count as one item, 90 of one item. So they stack together, and they take up very little space in here. So, yeah, that's what I'm sitting at right now. And that was like 2 crates worth of stuff. 40 out of 63 types, 354 out of 1024 bytes. So yeah, the 1K storage cell is taking care of all my needs there. And I'm just going to drop this back in there. Put my regular inventory back together right here. I've got a couple of weird items in here that don't look like they fit. One being apples. If you kind of look at the rest of the stuff in here, it's all ingots, blocks, gems, glass, ME pieces, things like that, things that are useful. There's a juicer right here, also looks like it doesn't fit. And yeah, I'll show you why in just a second. These I can probably take out, but oh, where'd they go? There we go. The shards, I haven't figured out how to use those yet, but that reminds me, I do have some of these mega loot crates to open up. But yeah, let me explain these apples and stuff while we're on topic. So, the energy system here was running on sticks. It's now running on charcoal. You may wonder, why not sticks? Answer, I ran out of sticks, actually. I had to set back up all of my bonsai pots, but they are not upstairs over here like they used to be. Let me run up here real quick. All the ones that were up here have been taken down because I had way too many sticks, and then I ignored it for a little while, something like 100+ hours, because I got the medal for that now. I'm actually closer to 150 hours because the first 40 hours I had to do twice because my achievements reset, and I have all those on a spice rack down here, kind of more like a display shelf. Ta-da! There we go. So the first 40 hours here, these are in order. The first 40 hours I did twice. So after that we have the bronze, ischelium, and silver. And then after 100 hours is the 101, which is the one I'm wearing right here. And I just got that maybe 3 or 4 hours ago. Something like that. So I'll have to make a second rack to store these on. I'll move this one over there and start up a second one on this side. Anyway, so ran out of sticks. The system over here started shutting down, so I pulled the charcoal I had in here out. I had, what, 5 or 6 stacks, maybe more in there. Started running it on that, and then decided, you know what, charcoal is infinitely renewable. I've got all kinds of wood and logs and a little bit of sticks left over that were in here. Went ahead and fired it all back up, running on charcoal, and then reset up all my bonsai pots down here. And made a few more. I had 8, and I made 6 more. So I've got 14 bonsai trees down here growing. They're all oaks, just because I had oak saplings. Why do they look weird? They look like they're paper trees or something. Oh, the textures are weird. Oh, what am I growing? Look at that. They've got leaf texture for the trunk and some kind of green stone ore. Kind of looks like, I don't even know what that looks like. Something radioactive. Is that like uranium from Jupiter or something? No idea. Anyway, these are oak trees. I may have to relog or something for the textures to fix. I've seen that happen before to other people. Anyway, but everything going in these chests, I had to use slightly larger chests just so they fill up a block and they look a little better and they don't make sound when I look in them. Just a design choice, more or less. All of these saplings and sticks in here. Huh. That's weird. There's no... Am I actually running out of wood in here? Looks like I'm running out of wood logs. Yeah. Okay, so all the saplings and sticks are being pulled for fuel, and all of the logs are being pulled... Yeah, it's running out of logs, actually. Huh. They're all being pulled to make charcoal. Let me split this half and half here, so this one has something to do. Yeah, they're being all pulled out into these 2 vanilla furnaces, all being filtered, and then the charcoal's extracted to go up here into the crate to make charcoal. That's more charcoal than I'm ever going to use. It's actually producing more than it is using. So let's grab like a few stacks of that. Let's see, is that 18? Let's grab a whole lot of that. And then we're going to condense this into blocks in my inventory real quick. Usually use the Eme System for this because this is a little slow. It hangs up. It's a problem with the little crafting table on a stick. It likes to lag. Alright, so 2 stacks of those. Oh, here's my crystal charger, by the way. Whenever you get into making charged crystals, you actually seriously need some growth accelerators, at least 1 to 4. I went ahead and did a setup of 4 because the crystals take multiple hours to grow in water by themselves. They will not despawn at any point during that, but you have to stand around and wait for a long time. So if you can make a growth accelerator, even just 1 by itself brings the time down to, I think, 12 hours. 4 of them brings it down to like 12 minutes or something like that. So yeah, maybe less than that, 6 minutes or so. Still long enough. If you can find a way to fit 6 of them all the way around the single block of water and still get the items in and out, it reduces the time down to 54 seconds to fully grow crystals. So good luck with that. But yeah, they help out immensely. They are more or less required unless you have hours and hours of time to do other things and then come back and check on them. I didn't feel like waiting, and I needed the storage and the crafting capabilities here, the layered crafting and stuff, pretty quick. So yeah. So speaking of multi-tiered crafting and blocks of charcoal, oh, and the apples, that's right. Almost forgot one more thing that's going on. Apples. We have way too dang many coming out of these oak trees, which is why I'm probably going to switch to something like birch. because I don't think birch trees drop apples. But, alright, apples in. We're going to do this right here. Use this juicer to turn all these apples into apple juice. And this stuff, watch this. So, full hunger, full saturation. You can still continue to drink the apple juice indefinitely. So, yeah. Along with milk that lets you do that, you can get your dairy and fruit capped out at all times. It doesn't matter if your hunger is low or not. So I went ahead and capped out my fruit. I need to bring my dairy back up a little bit. It's starting to kind of nudge down. I really need to work on grain. My vegetable was at 32 or so. It's at 40 now, so I need to work on grain and bring that up. But yeah, your fruit and dairy can be maxed out all the time with just apple juice and milk, which are eatable / drinkable all the time. Anyway, so these, check this out. I've got another ender chest here. We're going to drop these in there. Now, where does this go? Well, they're both going to be used for fuel. But to do what? Well, while I was setting all this up and doing my multi-tiered crafting, etc., I ran out of diamonds, and I was running low on iron and gold because I was using the iron and gold with the Philosopher's Stone to make diamonds, like stacks of them. I went down to like 15 iron ingots and no gold. So I was like, dang it, I gotta go mining. So I went mining for quite a few hours probably, brought back a whole lot of resources, and then decided to build the void miner. Let's run down here. So the void miner, I made the resource miner first, kind of on accident, and set it up and was like, you know what, this just makes blocks. Let me go ahead and make the actual ore miner. Those are both right here. So I made the resource miner first. You need this, 24 of these structure frames, 20 of the panels, 2 clear lenses. Wait, no, 2 of the, what are they called? It's underneath this block, but above that one. 2 of the lens blocks, whatever they're called, focuses or something. Laser core, there we go. 2 of the laser cores, and then 1 lens of any type, like this one here, the clear. And that's just glass. So you set this block down, the controller, and then you build an assembler. This thing here, that's obsidian and a litherite crystal. And the litherite's where all my diamonds went. And good thing I had some cactus earlier. You need a lot of this organic and green dye, and lime dye, which is just green and bone meal. You can just use cactus for these 2, and then cactus and bone meal for these 2. So I had no problem getting the dye, it just took a little bit of time. The diamonds are where I had the problem. But after going and mining and transmuting things, I got plenty of diamonds. Anyway, so you set this block down, you get the assembler, you come over here and you right-click on the void resource mining controller. If you hold right-click, it will actually build this multi-structure down here for you. You don't have to worry about it as long as you have enough space. The first time I built it, it clipped into a wall and deleted some blocks. So I had to actually make 2 extra of these structure frames. But yeah, that was being powered by the culinary generators over here. It was running perfectly fine because it only used like 60 RF per tick or something like that. So I had 4 of these set up, powering it. It's disabled right now because I don't need it, but all that stuff was going in here. Here's all the kinds of blocks it was getting for me. Regular stone, granite, diorite, andesite, in stone, cobblestone, mossy stone, dirt, podzol, sand, red sand, sandstone, red sandstone, gravel, clay, netherrack, soul sand, sponges, which those I don't think you can make. You can get them out of the miner. No, cannot craft them. They only come from the miners. So yeah, sponges are a unique item you can only get that way. Grass blocks mycelium, which is what I had trouble making before, but not really. I mean, it's good to just have it being generated here, but I don't really need it now. Ice, packed ice, those can be trouble to find if you don't have a glacier or tundra biome nearby, which I don't think I have an icy biome nearby me. I've got like some snowy mountaintops, but that's it. I had to make a glacial precipitator for ice before to get the gellum aspect. Obsidian, all the different terracotta, marble, brownstone, limestone, and basalt. Yeah, that's it. That's all of them. So yeah, making all the different kind of stuff. Just out of nothing. It just shoots bedrock and creates stuff for you. Only thing is it requires power and storage space. So I shut that off because I got the stuff I needed out of here. The only blocks I was missing from here were, I think, podzol, instone, and sponges. And so I scanned the chest, got all the information I needed, so yeah. These also you can scan. Oh, it was using 160 per tick. There it is right there on the end. FE per tick, 160. So after scanning these blocks, I was basically done with this entire setup. Don't need it anymore. I think the higher tiers may get more and different and unique blocks. Not sure. I'll look it up. But yeah, that was the setup. And then when I made the mining controller, this setup was not adequate. The fuel, I had to go and expand the culinary up to 8. These are each producing 24 RF per tick for 28,801 RF total. They last quite a long time. The apple juice here is 1 minute each, so a stack lasts basically an hour and 4 minutes. Every stack of apple juice, and I just put several stacks in there. Oh, it looks like it ran out. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna go have to make some more. They ran out while I was running around upstairs. But anyway, I've got a backup energy cell here. It'll catch up in a minute. I went ahead and expanded up to 8 culinary generators. It still was not enough because the mining controller here, the miner, uses more than 160 per tick. It uses 660 per tick. So I went ahead and made 4 more Starling generators with octadic capacitors, because once this thing was running a little bit at not adequate power, it still operates, but it operates extremely slowly. So I went down here to bedrock, used my glove, which this thing is awesome. The fire touch gauntlet I've got here, you can use to set bedrock on fire, just like it is flint and steel. Once those burn out, you get the grains of infinity, and you can do that until you run out of this in the current chunk, which doing this, if you have a very weak fire touch or fire projectile, I think will do the same thing. It'll use only 1 vis per cast, and you'll basically never run out of vis in your current chunk. Oh, 1 second. Alright. Anyway, you will never run out of vis in the current chunk. And you can get grains of infinity indefinitely. So I had an absorption hopper sitting right here. It grabs things in a 7x7. Basically just lit the entire area on fire, waited a little bit, rinse, repeat. All kinds of grains of infinity. There's a dog outside barking that's making Cassie bark, so apologies. Anyway, made all the Starling generators I could want. I've got the 2 upstairs plus these 4. I may replace the culinary generators with these and run off of nothing but charcoal. But these charcoal blocks make almost 1.5 million micro-infinities, which are interchangeable with RF per tick at 140 per tick, which isn't really fast enough to keep up with the 660 per tick, but 4 of them plus the culinary generators, top and bottom, are enough. So this here, actually, whenever this catches up, because these were empty earlier, once they get running for a couple of seconds, they will start backlogging power, and then this energy cell here will fill back up. But yeah, the basic capacitor bank I'm going to have to upgrade just for the storage capacity here. The 1,000 in and out per tick is fine. It isn't accepting more than 1,000. It's getting probably about 700 per tick. If you do the math, 140, 24 times 8 plus 140 times 4. That's what's going into it. But it'll eventually back up into here because the resource miner doesn't... hello. Put that out. It has, I think, an internal buffer for RF for power, and it runs through that every time it tries to create a block. And then once it has enough in its internal buffer, it starts backing up into the cell here. But anyway, here's all the stuff we're getting out of this. Coal ore blocks, redstone blocks, lapis lazuli, diamond, emerald. These are the major players there. Glowstone blocks, nether quartz. Those also, I was running low on quartz. Gold, silver, lead, iron, copper, tin, black quartz, cinnabar, aluminum, nickel, iridium, platinum, mana infused, which is the same as mithril. These litherite crystals, I'm getting those for free now, so that's saving me on diamonds if I need to make more. Ender amethyst, mostly useless. All of the biomes of plenty gems are in here. Ruby, peridot, or peridot, however you want to pronounce that. Topaz, tanzanite, malachite, sapphire, and amber. And then these iridium crystals, these here are important because there's no way to get them besides using the miner. You have to use these to make the iridium blocks, and those are used to make... actually no, just the crystals. The crystals are used for the tier 2 structure blocks, I believe. Yeah, structure frame tier 2. You have to use 2 of these each, plus a structure frame tier 1. So we're going to need, I think 24 structure blocks of tier 2. I'll have to get the assembler and check. If you click on this with the assembler, it tells you what you need for the current tier, plus the tier ahead of it. It may be more than 24 structure block tier 2s. I'll check. But anyway, we need these for the higher tiers. So when I get 48 to maybe a stack of these, I'll go ahead and try to upgrade this to the tier 2. We're also getting these Lonsdaleite crystals. Lonsdaleite? Not sure. But anyway, I got one of them. The only use are the modifiers. And I think you can use other blocks for this also. Oh, it's 1 crystal for each of the modifier blocks, plus an iridium or some other crystal. That takes a palladium. Yeah, 1 crystal per modifier block. And these are for the beacons, so I'm probably not even ever going to make one of these. The creatable beacons that have a continuous effect. Yeah, I probably won't make one of these. At least not for a long time. Maybe by the time we get around into the Project E, which is super late game, we'll get into it. Anyway, also getting uranium ore, aquamarine shale. I think aquamarine... Yeah, these are for astral sorcery. I have a use for these to make the research notes item because it has a decent amount of this in it. These are pretty good for just a variety of this, but otherwise, I would be using them for astral sorcery stuff. Yeah, resonating gems. They come in handy later. I have not got into astral sorcery. I've seen it used. It looks pretty cool. I'm going to need a lot of space. And it's going to have to be outside and decorated and cool looking. Also, the marble that you use for these, I couldn't find marble anywhere. There's a couple of random little structures out in the world that have marble in them, but I haven't found a good supply of marble. But the resource miner was actually getting that. Okay, also dimensional shard, quartz, and charged quartz. So yeah, those really handy for the Eme system. But yeah, between the Eme system and the void miner, um, and the bonsai tree setup, I got everything taken care of around here. The only thing I was having trouble with was the flux from doing research and things upstairs with FoolCraft. And I did a lot of different little bits of research. This is going to be a slightly longer episode, isn't it? Just running around talking about what I've done. Um, you know what? I might as well stop here. We'll split the FoolCraft stuff into its own episode because there's people that have interest in that and nothing else. And we're already just past 30 minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the episode here. We'll do a part 2 to the ramblings. I passed it up earlier on the way outside, but we'll run out there and check that out in a second. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. I will continue here in a moment with episode, part 2 of this. And until I get that one recorded and uploaded, I'll see you then. Have a good day.